Rise of Incarnates, Trove, and Cabal 2 have officially announced launch dates. Skyforge prepares for its fourth and final closed beta with several changes in store. Smite visually overhauls its popular arena map, and Nosgoth tries its hand at a little crafting with the Forge. What's happening, guys? James Blon here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the week ending June 15th, 2015. And normally I would say that the news this week is a bit lacking due to E3 and all, but that's not exactly the case this time around, starting with an announcement from Tryon recently giving us an official launch date for Trove. The road leading up to launch is set to consist of some final polishing, plus a few additional features included. The game is officially launching on July 9th, but just a few of the updates prior to launch include the addition of a dragon collection, like the recently revealed dragon mounts as an example. New challenges will pop up, a new class, which is sort of like a necromancer based on the clues they've dropped. We're looking at an overhauled UI, a refer a friend reward system. PvP is actually planned to be implemented through a beta program, and an official Steam launch, just to name a couple of those. Seems to me like they're really going to have a strong push for version 1.0, and with this many features being introduced by their July 9th launch date, it's probably going to be a completely different game by launch day 1. But speaking of launch dates, Cabal 2 has stayed quiet for the past few weeks, only to relaunch a really nice looking new website and announce that it's ready to go into open beta on July 2nd. Well, they say open beta, it's pretty much an official launch. You won't hold on to that open beta title for very long. And for those of you who were in the brief closed beta test a few weeks back and are wondering, EST Soft has also announced that the characters created during that test will not be lost and will be right as you left them for the open beta launch, despite the fact that the team has been working to better polish the game during the downtime. And of course, during the time of launch, the crew at EST Soft has plenty of events and streams with prizes planned. So if you haven't already, be sure to sign up at their new official website so you can hop into the game first thing on July 2nd. And we have one more launch date announcement for this week with Rise of Incarnates. Bandai Namco announced this past week that its competitive 2v2 co-op battle arena game is set to release on Steam on July 1st. Alongside the launch, Zeus will be available as the latest Incarnate to join the roster, plus a brand new map set in the Washington, D.C. area will be added in, which makes sense because Zeus is actually the president in this game, and he has all the power as being Zeus. Never mind. Anyway, to celebrate the launch, the developers are setting up a special live stream event on launch day to give players a look at the new features introduced, as well as fighting tips and strategies from pro gamers. Could be interesting. Next up, we have a couple more significant dates to remember. Last week, the Alad's team and Obsidian Entertainment announced the fourth and final closed beta dates for Skyforge, coming up this June 23rd through the 29th, meaning that open beta and launch is just around the corner, as I suspected. Continuing their pattern, the number of closed beta testers for this final test will be significantly increased, plus these testers will be granted access to two high-tier classes, the Knight and the Alchemist. In addition to that, players from the previous test can explore some of the several thousand fixes and improvements made since just the last beta test, actually. Based on internal data and bug reports, there's been plenty of changes implemented, but in order to implement these changes, the final test will be a brand new build of the game and all existing accounts have been wiped. It's kind of rough considering that it takes a bit to work on these getting new classes. Oh well, what can you do? But then again, some of these significant changes have to do with just that. They've improved the user experience with orders and followers, and as a result, managing followers and their resources have been improved. Big changes have come to PvE and PvP. The Ascension Atlas has now been streamlined, and the client itself has seen a huge optimization overhaul, making the max frames per second 30% higher from when they started beta testing. Not sure about you guys, but I'm still really looking forward to this game when it launches, especially with all the work they've been putting into making it more catered to its players. But I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below if you're still really excited for this game at launch. In other MMORPG news, Webzen released a new video recently for Archlord 2, showcasing a new and ongoing update that increases the game's level cap to 55 and introduces an entirely new territory called Stardust Land. Kind of sounds like they stole that from Mario or something. It's a hostile environment with dangerous creatures and extremely cold weather. Now I know they stole it from Mario. The new update also introduces players to Wrath Valley, a region inside Stardust Land, home to some of the strongest enemies in the game, including a boss or two from the looks of the trailer here. Not the biggest update exactly, but an update nonetheless. Also last week, Albion Online developers released a new features highlight video showcasing a really cool feature called Hellgates, which is going to be available in the upcoming Summer Alpha, whenever that is. A Hellgate is a rift to the Hell dimension, of course, in the form of a dungeon called a Hell Cluster, which holds a total of 10 players at a time, split between 2 groups. Now, to be able to enter the Hell Cluster, you must first travel around the world until you find a Gatekeeper. Now, the Gatekeeper himself is a demon that you have to take down with a group of 5 at least. I guess if you're brave and feel strong enough, you can probably do it with less. Once you've defeated the Gatekeeper, you can then enter the Hellgate, and the cool part about this is a lot of the times there's another Hellgate that has opened somewhere else in the world for another group of 5 players, and if you encountered that group in the dungeon, they're usually out for blood. So these adventures are filled with tough PvE, first off, and PvP leading up to a raid boss. That's obviously a lot harder to take down than the Gatekeeper. Apparently these are very rewarding dungeons and should be heavily sought after once you and your group of friends are combat ready. Check out the highlights video to pick up a general overview of this new feature. It looks pretty cool, honestly. Next up, Dungeon Fighter Online is definitely proving to its players that it's back with a vengeance with full-on developer support. Recently they released an update that introduced a new area and raised the level cap to 85. Now, the new area is called the Eton Industrial Area, and it offers a new town with several new NPCs and a new dungeon called Power Station. The Power Station dungeon consists of several power plants, each with their own boss battles, of course, and objectives, offering players enough to push them towards the new level cap. Anyway, their game is definitely awesome, there's no doubt about that, but it's just funny how each one of these new trailers feels like an ad for Power Thirst. Not saying it's a bad thing, just, you know, a little over-intense. On a side note, one of the games I'm definitely looking forward to try this week at E3 is King of Wushu from Snail Games. Now, from all the trailers, including the new E3 teaser trailer that you see playing here, it's very easy to see that the game looks absolutely amazing visually, but up until this point we really haven't seen much gameplay. Well, with the Western version anyway. Not really any news here except for the teaser trailer itself, but I should have some really cool gameplay and info about the game for you guys to look forward to in the coming week. Plus, apparently Snail Games has some other really cool stuff to show us that hasn't exactly been announced yet, so who knows what's in store. And surprisingly, on a similar note, Smite came out of the blue last week and showcased huge changes to the arena map. Changes include new mobs, a new tower, and an entire environmental overhaul, which looks fantastic. The mobs now represent animals that you might consider seeing in a gladiator-style arena, so they have a cool new theme to them. And the new towers look pretty legit. Even the portals look really nice. We knew this was coming about, a month or so, but the best part is that it will be here really soon, like this week perhaps. Earlier this past week, a new Domination map was released in Warface. The new map is called Armageddon. It's a medium-sized map set near an abandoned quarry in Nevada. Blackwood forces have set up operations in the area for some reason with giant drills on the site to burrow deep into the earth. Kinda sounds like the typical good guy versus bad guy situation here, but I can say touching those drill blades isn't the best idea. The cool part is, as the drill begins to spin, tremors start and dust clouds start to rise, and these dynamic factors cut down the visibility, of course, in the match, making enemies an easier target for melee attacks. Very cool map layout and environmental challenges in this one, for sure. But finally, for our last bit of news, Nosgoth has recently introduced the Forge, which is the game's new crafting system, and this allows players to enchant or adjust or reforge items with the right materials, which are found when playing matches, completing matches, as well as salvaging old items. Thank goodness we have a use for that now. Enchanting items changes regular items into magic items or upgrades existing magical items, whereas reforging items changes specific properties on an item by re-rolling for new properties. Now, hopefully the new system doesn't alter the existing balance in the game, especially if there are chances to roll some really rare items with crazy properties. Not sure if this is the case, I doubt this is the case, but who knows. Seems like they've been working on this system for a while now, so I'm sure they're taking that in consideration already. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for the week before E3. There's going to be plenty more announcements ready for next week's recap, along with some awesome new game coverage from me. But for now, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in this recap, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to the new MMOHuts.com for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or what you're looking forward to coming out of this year's E3. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.